Sampling, in accordance with EN 12350 Part 1. This training video has been produced by the Institute of Concrete Technology in partnership with Brett Concrete, Delman Readymix, GCP Applied Technologies, Hansen, LKAB, the MPA and BRMCA, QSRMC, Seeker, Talent Concrete Training, Tarmac and Testing and Consultancy Services. The following are important definitions in relation to the sampling of fresh concrete. A batch is the quantity of concrete mixed in one cycle of operations of a batch mixer. Or it is the quantity discharged during 1 minute from a continuous mixer. Or it is the quantity conveyed ready-mixed in a truck mixer. An increment is the quantity of concrete taken in a single operation of a scoop or similar sampling device. A composite sample is the quantity of concrete taken throughout a batch to be tested. It should be representative of the batch and consist of a number of increments mixed thoroughly together. A spot sample is a quantity of concrete taken from part of a batch consisting of one or more increments mixed thoroughly together. Always wear the appropriate personal protective equipment when carrying out any testing with concrete. This includes safety glasses, protective clothing, gloves, and safety boots. Ensure that you have all the necessary equipment available and that it is clean and serviceable. Depending on the intended use of the sample, it must be decided whether a spot or composite sample is required. Any sample should contain at least 1.5 times the quantity estimated as being required for any tests. Approximate quantities required for typical tests and specimens are shown in the table. Where the consistence retention of the concrete is required to be tested, the quantity of the concrete sampled shall be not less than 1.5 times the quantity estimated for the tests, but also sufficient to fill the sealed container to within 25 mm to 50 mm of the cover. The containers shall be stored at the location of the point of sampling from the discharge until required for testing. The ideal way to take a sample is from a moving stream of concrete, and this can usually be done when the concrete is flowing down the discharge chute of the mixer. The first part and the last part of the load should be disregarded. It is important that the samples are taken from the entire cross-section of the stream, as otherwise the sample may be biased. It is recommended that at least 4 increments are taken for a composite sample. Sometimes it is necessary to obtain a sample from a heap of concrete. In such a case, it is necessary to take increments from at least 5 different places, at varying depths of the heap, If the temperature of the concrete is required, it must be measured by the insertion of the thermometer to a depth of approximately 50 mm, and the reading of the temperature must be taken between 30 seconds and 60 seconds after insertion. The temperature must be recorded to the nearest 1 degree Celsius. At all stages of sampling, transport and handling, The fresh concrete samples must be protected against contamination, gaining or losing water, and extreme variations of temperature. The properties of fresh concrete can change with time after mixing, depending upon the environmental conditions. This should be taken into account in deciding the time when tests are carried out or specimens made. The following information must be reported on completion of the sampling. Reference to the standard EN 12350 Part 1. Identification of the sample. The description of where the sample was taken. The date and time of sampling. If relevant, the number of samples taken for consistence retention testing. The type of sample, composite or spot. Any deviations from the standard method of sampling. And a declaration by the person technically responsible for the sampling that it was carried out in accordance with the standard, except as noted above. The following information may also be reported on completion of sampling if requested. The ambient temperature and weather conditions. The temperature of the concrete sample at the time of sampling. Any modification to the concrete supplied or variation in storage location or condition of the concrete sample. For further information on the ICT's Concrete Field Testing Technician Certification Scheme, please visit our website